First of all, just tell us who you
are. My name is Paul Connett. I'm a Professor Emeritus of Chemistry from St. Lawrence University, and currently I'm the Executive Director of the Fluoride Action Network.
What's your opinion and what's your response to the consultation that Southampton are doing?
I'm appalled. I would expect something like that from the British Fluoridation Society, but from civil servants who should be bending over backwards to produce a scrupulously objective document. This is nothing more than propaganda. It's outrageous.
What are the main facts you think that they're leaving out then?
Well, they left this out for a start. This is 507 pages of research by the National Research Council. It took them 3.5 years to do. There's over 1,000 references, and to completely ignore it, to me, is absolutely unforgivable.
What would you say then are the main arguments against putting fluoride in the water?
Well, I think that my major concern right now is severalfold. One is lowering of thyroid function and lowering of IQ, and possibly arthritis in adults. But they don't mention lowering of IQ in this, and yet there are 23 studies now which shows that fluoride lowers IQ. Now let me be clear about this. These are not studies that have been done in fluoridated communities. These are studies done in India and China and Mexico and Iran, where the background levels are much higher in the water. But the issue is there an adequate margin of safety between where you're seeing lowering of IQ in these countries and the doses that our kids are going to get in a fluoridated community? The lowest level recorded for lowering of IQ is 1.8 parts per million. We fluoridate at 1 part per million. I don't think there's an adequate margin of safety there to protect our kids' brains. Who would possibly think that it's to risk to reduce tooth decay? Maybe. To reduce your child's intelligence? Maybe. This is a ridiculous thing that we're doing here.
I mean, the American experience, 50 years of fluoridation there and no serious ill effects so far.
Yeah. Well, the fact is that they haven't done the studies. Nearly all the studies done in the United States have been done on teeth and some studies on bones. They haven't done any studies on lowering of IQ, on lowering thyroid function, on arthritis, or possibly even Alzheimer's disease. There's no attempt to looking at these diseases, of which in many cases a massive increase in these diseases over the last 50 years. No one has attempted to relate that to fluoridation. And that's unforgivable. When these guys look at it in unfluoridated countries where you get high natural levels, there's no question that fluoride causes this damage. Again, the issue is there an adequate margin of safety?
The main reason being given here in Southampton is, of course, children's teeth. And the rate of caries and rotten teeth in Southampton is higher than the national average. And they're convinced that they've tried many other ways to try and address this, but they're convinced fluoride is the only way to go. If a campaign to stop fluoridation works, aren't you condemning generations of children to rotten teeth?
Absolutely not. They are convinced, but they are the promoters, and they've been convinced by their own belief system, their own rhetoric, their own public relations material. They cannot produce scientific studies. The differences that you're talking about they haven't controlled for income. There's a far greater relationship between tooth decay and income than you'll ever find with fluoridation status. In fact, if you look at the World Health Organization data for countries, 20 countries, 4 fluoridated and 13 not fluoridated, you can't see any difference in tooth decay between the fluoridated and non-fluoridated countries. That the science which purports to demonstrate effectiveness is as weak as the lack of effort to do the science on the other health issues. I don't believe it's effective, and I don't believe it is safe. What we should make clear also, it's now apparent that the mechanism that they thought for 50 years explained fluoride's benefit to teeth was wrong. They thought you had to swallow the fluoride, that it was a systemic effect. It worked from the inside of the body. Now, most researchers agree that it's a topical effect. It works from the outside of the tooth. You've got fluoridated toothpaste universally available. You don't need to swallow it. It makes as much sense to swallow fluoride as it does to swallow suntan lotion, which also works topically, but no one in their right mind would swallow it.
There's a couple more months of this consultation in Southampton. Just one final message to people as they try and consider the very, very complex scientific messages that are coming at them.
I would give them two simple numbers. One is the 1 part per million that they're going to put in the water, and the other one is the level of fluoride in mother's milk. That's 0.004 parts per million. If you believe that fluoridation is effective at fighting tooth decay, then you believe that nature screwed up, that nature really didn't know what was the best meal for the baby. On the other hand, knowing that nature has such low levels in mother's milk, you have to wonder what fluoride ingested means for a newborn baby, a bottle-fed baby. A bottle-fed baby in a fluoridated community is going to get 250 times more fluoride than would get from mother's milk.
Great. Thanks very much.
Thank you.